Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Close Up Talk Radio, the unique internet broadcast series that brings you together with some of the most amazing, important, and interesting individuals from the worlds of business, industry, travel, health and wellness, art, entertainment, and more. From company owners, CEOs, and presidents to the technical wizards behind the scenes who create the magic that make their company's products and services so special. Here's your opportunity to hear firsthand the fascinating stories of how it all happened from those who actually made it possible. Now, live, this is Close Up Talk Radio. Welcome to CUTV News Radio Live, globally, around the world, reaching a global audience. This is your host, Jim Masters. Thanks for joining us and making us a part of your day. Great to always have you with us, and also great to have our special guest on today's show joining us as well, Bonnie Pribula. She happens to be in a very, very desirable place in life, but also geographically, Honolulu, Hawaii, and she is a regular guest on our show, and she's always imparting us with some amazing information and advice and suggestions, but also so much more, because she is the founder of Astrology Consultant Service, and she interprets astrological forecasts to assist people in strategizing their future decisions. And as an international astrology consultant for some 35 years, Bonnie works with both individuals and businesses to reveal their strengths, but also, very important, warn them of their weaknesses and help them achieve their fullest potential. She really, really has, and if you've heard our previous shows, she has an uncanny ability to see what is in store for you and your business. She's a wonderful conversationalist. I mean, she really, really sets a nice, calming tone and is so truthful and forthright with her material that you're just run in and you want more. And that's what I find, even with myself. She's really amazing. There's so much we have to get to today, a very busy show today on CUTV News Radio. Let's welcome back, she's also an amazing artist. I just want to talk about that too quickly. She does incredible artwork in media, jewelry, and so much more. She might even touch on that a little bit. But today we're going to focus a little bit more on her work, and she has some wonderful things to tell us about things that are going on currently in the world of astrology as well. Without further ado, let's welcome back to CUTV News Radio astrologer Bonnie Pribula. Bonnie, welcome back to the show. It's always aloha. It's great to have you with us today. And tell us, give us a visual picture of what your surroundings are like there in Honolulu today.
The sun is glowing. I have a view from my deck and my living room of the ocean. Beautiful color today. And just a nice balmy breeze. It's going to be a little warm for Hawaiians at about 85 today. But we can deal with that.
Does that, having yourself placed in that kind of atmosphere, an aesthetically pleasing and inviting atmosphere, enhance your work?
It certainly does. I was raised and lived in the Pacific Northwest, and the rain just I accomplished, and I was probably an overachiever, but never felt as good as I do in the sunshine here.
That is fantastic. Now, I know you're very excited, as you always are, to share some current material with us, what's happening in the world of astrology. What do you have that you'd like to share with our audience today, Bonnie?
Okay. Now, we started this summer solstice yesterday. And that's a strong energy time for nice, fresh starts. The sun entered in Cancer for the first time this month. And so happy birthday to Cancer people this month. And the moon is in Virgo. It goes through each sign of the zodiac for approximately 2.5 days each month. And so it touches every one of us.
Now, in
out
which
of
ways, if somebody's listening and they hear the moon is in Virgo, but they're not sure how that connects
that
to
affects
us
them.
and how to... Yeah, tell us about these things when you say these things. How does that... Some examples, maybe.
We wouldn't know how it would affect an individual unless they are a Virgo, or we have their chart in front of us to see which house of 12 houses or 12 different types of activity where Virgo is placed in that natal chart. And they'll have 2.5 days of that type of activity. So we can't tell that until we really have a chart. But we know that Virgos themselves, with a moon in Virgo, or if it's in any other sign, those individuals of that sign are pretty much on stage for that 2.5 days. They're in the limelight, and it's a nice fresh start for them each month.
How about if you are told that you have Virgo rising? Does this affect you there as well?
Well, if I knew someone had a Virgo rising, I would have said, well, the last 2.5 days you've really stayed out of sight, haven't you? The moon has been transiting through your 12th house, and you really weren't out there.
Fascinating, really, yeah. You might have been there, but not present.
Well, hiding out and not being seen, even there, yes.
Yeah,
and we're out of the
amazing.
shadow of the Mercury retrograde now, so clarity of mind is more readily achieved now.
Now, for folks who are not familiar with Mercury, when it is in retrograde, what does that mean, and how does that affect us when it does happen? And Mercury, also, how often does that happen?
That happens about 3 times a year for 21 days at a time. And when Mercury is the planet of travel, short and long distance, communications, sales, contracts, all of those things. And in communications, it really affects computers. So those are all of the things that kind of go into a more quiet mode, or a lot of intention has to be put out to really keep things on track during a Mercury retrograde.
That is very, very interesting. So you're also, some exciting news, I just wanted to slip in, your shop. You have a shop that is on its way to development real soon, and you've teamed up with, you're working with somebody who happens to be a fellow Libra as well, your associate. Tell us a little bit about that. That's kind of exciting.
Yes, it is. I felt the need to know. I've been working toward this for a couple of years, producing art and so forth for a shop. Again, I've had things in my pharmacy shops and kiosks and other people's stores, galleries and so forth. But I felt that I would open a shop. So I invited this young man who I've known for a while to my house for a reading. And I told him all of the things I had going, and I had a page full of questions for him. And he said, put aside all the rest of these things. The shop is ready to manifest. So we started working, and he decided on the spot that he would like to manage it. So
really?
So within a couple of weeks, he had found the spot. We looked at it, and I signed an agreement for leasing it. So we're well on the way. And the name of the shop will be Crystal Cave. And the young man had said he'd written a story in 2008 that had a kyanite bar in it, and he always kind of thought he'd like to have a kyanite something. And I said, well, we won't be serving liquor probably, but there's no reason that a Crystal Cave can't have a kyanite lounge in it. So that we have trademarked that, and that's on the way.
That's terrific. That's got to be very, very exciting, huh?
Yes, it is. And we should get back to what's happening to other people too here.
Yes.
We need to let them know that Mars enters Cancer on Thursday. So that means the Sun is in Cancer and Mars is in Cancer. And this Mars is the planet of action, activity. With Mars making a transit through Cancer, they will be ready for new activities, and they're starting a new 2-year energy cycle. It takes Mars 2 years to go around the houses or each sign of the zodiac, and this is their new start, fresh start for the next 2-year cycle.
So if that affects folks directly, what should they be looking for? Is there any sort of daily indication of this?
Feel it.
Yeah.
They will feel it. They're energized. They're ready.
Yeah. They are, right? Yeah. Yep. Now, does that, this could be a layperson's question, but one that people might think to themselves, when it is the time around your birthday, from an astrological viewpoint, each year when the birthday comes and your sign is sort of in the limelight and celebrated, are your senses heightened? Are things just heightened in a different way than they would be the rest of the year for you?
They're
because
enhanced.
It's time? They're enhanced.
They're enhanced, yes. And particularly noticeable because the month before, like the sun goes through the 12th house, and then it comes to the ascendant or the first house. And when it's in the 12th house, again, they're not seen. They're quiet. They're more in a reticent mode and so forth. So they really notice it when the sun comes on a Cancer ascendant or a Cancer sun.
That's really amazing. So what else is happening, Bonnie? Tell us about some of the other things.
We need to remind Leos that this is their best year in the last 12 years. And Leo is the abundant, prosperous, opportunities, all things of benefit. So Jupiter has been in Leo for a while, and it's giving them the start of a new 12-year cycle of abundance and ease for these Leos. And they have until the 12th of August with Jupiter in their sign. Then it goes on to the next sign. So make hay.
Yes. Right. Wow. It really is amazing. This is, when you think, what about, I'm trying to think in terms of current events, things that are happening in our world, in our society, good,
banking,
bad, indifference.
Business,
yeah.
Banking,
even
business,
some of the international news too,
and other countries. Yes.
Yeah. Tell us.
Pluto turmoils.
Yes.
Pluto is unearthing things that have been hidden, things that need to be changed, and bringing them to light and not letting it go until the changes have been made. And then we have the planet Uranus in Aries, which is causing us all to reinvent businesses, procedures, ourselves. So there's a lot going on.
There is. So what should we be looking for in the future? Are we going through any sort of major cycle right now? Is there anything that, a lot of times if you look at, when you have conversations with people, they see a lot of things that are happening in the weather that are dramatic. They're seeing a lot of people that seem to be angry and ramped up and bitter and just not communicating, and people are going at each other.
If they recognize that, dwell on it, talk about it, they're feeding that.
That's right.
They're feeding that energy. What the best thing to do is go within, become calm, and we have a high energy level now to identify what we believe and change beliefs that aren't serving us. So that's very much what's going on, and people that don't realize what's going on tend to lash out at others, not realizing they have the power within themselves to change their lives, and they're adding to the mass power for changes if they do it positively.
Are there sometimes people that are resistant, or they just can't absorb or understand or embrace it and work with it?
Yes.
And how do you work with them?
They're resistant because we all tend to be resistant to change. It's scary.
Yeah.
And we have to really trust in our universe, our God, ourselves, and that way we stay calm and in a calm presence.
You find more and more people needing to heed that advice?
Yes, and it's unfortunate that the word doesn't get out to more and more of them.
Yeah. So what else is happening?
So we do what we can.
You do what you can, which is what you have to do through life. Tell us more, and also, if people are listening to our show, we always want to make sure we hit upon the fact that you are available for them consistently, as you have been for so long. Tell us about that process. If somebody's really listening to our show right now, and they want to connect with Bonnie Prebula, give us an example. What happens if somebody's never had a connection with an astrologer before? What is that initial process like? I'm sure at first there's almost they may be nervous. They may be sort of hesitant in the beginning, only because they've never done it before.
They're going to have things revealed. What I should mention is I get a lot of how can we communicate on my website. And I say they can comment. So I say here, and by email, that's BONNIEGP@AOL.com. By conference call, setting up a conference call for readings and consults. And then we have a new posted on one website and a page on the BONNIEGP.com how to come and see me in Hawaii with mystical, metaphysical travel to sites here, take classes here, have readings here. So that's available too, very reasonably on the site. And when we make contact, I try to reassure them and tell them all I need is their birth date, time if they have it, and their place of birth. And if they're residing in a different place, do they want me to do a relocation chart to the new place? They'll keep most strongly their natal birth chart, but a new place adds another dimension. So it's all quite simple, really.
It is, when you really think about it, absolutely. It really, really is. How does embracing astrology and using it to our benefit, absorbing it and realizing that it is a part of our, every fiber of our being on a daily basis, it's not something you turn on and off like a light switch only when you want it to be, in vogue or in fashion. that it is a part of your daily existence. How does one who becomes in tune with it and appreciative of it how does it enhance their life on a daily basis by following it and being in tune with astrology and somebody like you?
Well, it explains what's going on in your life. You can sense it and use it, and if you really identify it, then it becomes stronger for you, and you're able to use it in a higher mode. I get about 1 out of every 500 comments on that's daily, on my website blog, saying, well, I don't quite believe everything you've said here. And so I point out that I have tested this for over 35 years, and these are just ideas for you to test to see how they work and if they work in your lives.
And when they do sort of, quote, see the light, the world completely changes for them, doesn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
It is a tool. And they're using that tool all the time. They're just not acknowledging it and using it to the fullest.
How about also its connection with the law of attraction? That, like you said earlier, if you focus on negative, well, that energy will be, the dominant energy, and that will be quadrupled.
Bring you all kinds of things that way, yes.
Yeah. The law of attraction is...
well, one of the most common uses of the law of attraction is to attract a perfect individual as a partner. So my first advice when someone is ready to manifest a long-term partner is, are you happy with yourself? Do you like who you are right now? Because you're going to attract that. And if you are not, then you must change yourself into the person that you wish to attract.
What if somebody says, well, it's all fate. It's already determined. I really can't do much. I just have to deal with whatever comes my way because it's already written. Everything is written already, and we can't really have any change the course of direction. What do you think about people that say that? They believe just
for them,
in fate?
that is true. What they believe is all-powerful. And what I try to do is just drop a few ideas into that conscious part of their mind that they can weigh and give them, there's always a way. And this is so exciting to be able to change and get exactly what you want, need, and love in your life.
So you do have the ability, to make the
Yes, if
change.
You don't like your life, change your mind about it.
Perspective is very powerful, isn't it?
It certainly is.
What else is happening? Do you have anything else for us prediction-wise?
Yes, I
Bonnie?
do. And this is not a very commonly expressed thing by astrologers, but a void of course moon will happen on this Thursday evening, and it is something that happens when the moon is making a transit, and if it connects or conjuncts with any other or interacts by degrees with any other planets, a sun or luminary, it will reach a point where it does not interact. It is kind of quiet before it goes into the next sign. So one of those happens this Thursday evening. And so the moon is making no aspects after evening about 4 o'clock before it goes into the next sign of Scorpio. It's in Libra, going into Scorpio. And that is a time to make, if you want to confront somebody or make some actions, that is a time when you will receive no hassles. You won't accomplish a whole lot if you're trying to get something new going with a void, of course, moon. But it kind of smooths things over and helps you straighten things out that need to be addressed. I think that's exciting, too.
That really, yeah, it absolutely is. We're speaking with Bonnie Pegula, astrologist, founder of Astrology Consultant Service, where she interprets astrological forecasts to really, and you're getting a sampling of that today on the show, to bottom line assist people in strategizing future decisions. And you've been doing this for, again, a number of decades. And some of the reactions that you get, the feedback, I imagine you get people who are long-term clients, or then you may get people who come, once, twice, a couple of times. But do you get feedback, like follow-up? Do you ever get people who have come to
I've
you
got a good
and
one
then
for
maybe?
You.
Oh, good.
There was a lady who had a baby here in Hawaii, and it has to be over 30 years ago now. And I did the baby's chart. And last year, the mother contacted me again, and she said, you need to do his chart again. You were right on with everything. He went to a foreign country to teach, and she named some other things that I predicted or projected that could happen for him anyway. And she said, he's ready to make some big decisions. Time for you to step in again. And I did.
Wow. And what happened as a result?
They haven't, they didn't contact me in 30 years. I know he's on the right track, or I'd hear something, wouldn't I?
Yeah. That's really fascinating. Are you ever fascinated by your own work? I'm sure it fascinates you. I know you have a zest, a zeal, a vim, and a vigor for it, but are you ever... I can imagine you waking up every day excited, and it must really have a powerful impact on you.
Yes, and it creates an energy field around me so that I don't have to do a lot of work to make changes. People stepping into my energy field are often healed, get answers, whether that's on the telephone or... a couple of interesting things. I had two different fellows contact me, seeing me on Facebook. They wanted a relationship, and I said, well, I've been married for 56 years, so I'm not about to change that. I said, but let's communicate a little bit. I think you will find your perfect individual by just our communications. And sure enough, they both have just, with daily contact for a short time.
That is amazing. Well, that's a good way to wrap up this episode, and a real pleasure once again speaking with you, Bonnie, and thanks for all of the sort of late-breaking updated information and all good stuff for people to really hang on to and absorb and apply to their own life. You'll be back with us next week, and I, as always, thoroughly look forward to that. It's always a rich conversation and an enthusiastic conversation that we have. Bonnie has a website specifically for her consulting service. It is astrologyconsultantservice.com. Fabulous, fabulous place, always updated. Fabulous place to begin your journey with Bonnie. Bonnie Pegula, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. It was a pleasure, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have.
I have, and I want to thank you for your deep, in-depth probing for the questions. You are divinely led to the questions that we can get out to the people. It's obvious here. So, mahalo, nui loa, thank you very much.
You are very, very welcome. I appreciate that very much, Bonnie. I appreciate those kind words. And I look forward to speaking with you next week. That's Bonnie Prabula. Thank you for joining us on this episode of CUTV News Radio. I'm your host, Jim Masters. We'll see you again soon. Have a wonderful day.